Hello, welcome to Celebrity Spotlight Radio. I have today an exclusive interview with two filmmakers behind the moving, powerful documentary film entitled Our American Family. The film will be released in the US, in theaters in New York and LA on September 2nd, and on VOD in the US and Canada and UK and major territories on September 6th. The film was timed to the National Recovery Month and winner of the Woodstock Film Festival in 2021 Audience Award for the Best Documentary. I welcome filmmakers Halle Adelman and Sean King O'Grady to our show. How are you guys doing?
Great. Thank you so much, Antonio.
Now, let me tell you something. This is a powerful documentary. And I grew up in the 80s, and I could tell you, um, I think most of the family members had at least one person, because I sure did. It was my oldest sister, so I could relate to this film. It was a strong topic, great timing with the National Recovery Month. Did you both plan it that way?
No, I honestly, there's something that's been looking over this film. I don't know what it is. I don't know what anybody believes in, but there's something that's been looking over this film for a long time and making everything kind of just be meant to be along the way. So for us, we're excited not only that it's coming out National Recovery Month on, Amazon, iTunes, Vudu, Google Play, but then for National Substance Abuse Awareness Month in October, we'll be on AMC Plus and the Sundance Channel. And then from there, we'll stay on those channels because, as you know, and as many families know, and as our country knows that's been ravaged by addiction, like this isn't a 2-month conversation. Like
Yeah.
if we're serious, this needs to be at the forefront all the time. So we're really happy to have this coincidence and then the opportunity to keep talking about this.
Well, that's a blessing then. How did you both meet and decide to do this fabulous film and project?
We were introduced by a mutual friend. So Haley had known the family in the film for a long time, I think for 8 years prior to us beginning filming. And she had started toyed around with the idea of me telling their story in a multitude of different ways, and ultimately landed on it might be an interesting documentary. Our friend introduced Haley to me. I made documentaries before, and we met and started filming the same day and just started telling their story. It was pretty incredible to meet them. I honestly I'm not from Philadelphia. I went there for the first time to meet this family, like sort of skeptical whether there was actually enough story there for a documentary or not. And within like 2 hours of the first day, I knew absolutely this is a very special group of people and their story deserves to be told.
Right. Now, I assume you knew the family. Uh, was it easy to convince them to be part of this project?
Oh, it wasn't a convincing thing at all. I mean, Nicole had come to me and said she really wanted to help people. She felt that there was a reason why she was still alive. She had been to 17 treatment centers. She was overdosing. I think the year before us filming, she overdosed at least twice. Sometimes, even more than that years prior. So she wanted to help people. We started honestly just writing. I would just, she would write pieces. I'd give her some feedback on her writing. Then she overdosed again. We realized that wasn't the right medium. And we talked about just how people don't really think about addiction as a family story when it really is. So from there, it really was a matter of saying, like, we have this family story. Does your whole family want to participate? The family was at wit's end with addiction. They were tired of addiction. They're like, enough of addiction being on the center stage. What about us and our story and our heart and us as humans being on center stage, kind of thing? And, not in a way that's like, look at us, but in a way that, like, they were saying enough of this addiction hiding and ravaging our family and ravaging other families.
Yeah, because a lot of people, especially now, I know everybody has a story to tell and they want to tell it, but a a lot of times people are very shy because, now with social media and everything, you're actually the limelight now. And then people that knew you, that didn't know you have a problem, now do, you know? So that's why I said that. It's not like really, maybe it was the wrong word, convincing, but getting them to do this kind of project. So I guess for Nicole, it was like a positive thing because she's spreading a message, a beautiful message, basically, and what she went through, and hopefully that people like her uh, that has a problem, situation like that, that maybe it could be resolved. And I'll be honest with you, when I saw this film, I wish this film came out in the 80s
Mm.
because I tell you, it would have helped my parents a lot with my older sister, and so I could really relate with this, and I'm pretty sure a lot of families seeing this film are going to relate. So, which my next question is, why did the title "Our American Family"? It's a great title, by the way, but why did you choose that title? Anyone?
Well,
Haley,
yeah.
Haley.
We're also like, we're always so considerate of each other. We're like, wait a minute, Sean, want to jump in? I think the title meant a lot of things. First of all, in this moment, this is what our American families are dealing with.
Right.
Sadly, this is what our American families are dealing with behind closed doors. So I think it represented that. We chose the word "our" on purpose because we also wanted to say, like, we didn't want anybody to think like, oh, it's their story, but what about our story, which might be a little different or blah, blah, blah. So really out of respect that families struggle, our American families are struggling with lots of pieces, honestly. There's mental illness that's running through families. We have higher rates of suicide. We have teens that are struggling right now and feeling broken. So for this, it was, but what about this family? What about this American family? So really it was layered to bring forward this family and also to say, hey, wait a minute, there's something going on in this country that we need to talk about.
Yeah. What was the most difficult scene in the film to shoot? Because I know you're doing you're filming live. The family. You're just filming them rambling on and as a family with the situation. What was the most difficult scene to film?
For me, the most difficult scene in the film was when Chris and Nicole, though Chris, Nicole, and Linda are painting the bedroom, they're painting G's bedroom, and it goes from being this sort of fun family experience into a really pretty intense argument between Nicole and Chris. And that to me was difficult because I see these two people who I've grown to care about very much, and they're saying they're saying very hard things to each other. It's not a pleasant thing. It's watching two people that you care about be not so nice to one another. And it I think it was just, you wanted it to end because you knew that these people loved each other and you wanted them to be showing each other that love. So that was in one way for me the hardest, but I also knew that it did show what can happen and how something can spiral, how something can go from being such a great experience to such a negative experience so quickly. I knew even while we were shooting it that I hoped would be a scene that could really help people.
Yeah.
I think that was I wonder, Sean, I'm wondering, like, I think that was probably also the like a physically, like, to Sean's credit and Seamus Tierney, our DP's credit, like, it was physically hard to film that. Like, there was a bed because they were painting, but there was like a bed pushed over, like there was a pop-up tent in the room, like, and the two of them were just maneuvering, like, just honestly gracefully and seamlessly and like with love, kind of capturing a hard moment, but also having a lot of obstacles in their way, just like the family, frankly.
Yeah, there were a lot of bogeys in the room. And honestly, yeah, Seamus, our DP, and I think looked at each other as much as we were looking at what was happening, trying to figure out who was shooting what to be able to capture the scene accurately. But also at that point, I don't think either Chris or Nicole were really cognizant of us being in the room. They were locked into what they were locked into. And I didn't want to get in the way or make them feel any more uncomfortable than they already felt.
Yeah, yeah. It must have been difficult for both of you, because it's like if I had a family member just come over and then they're watching all this happening and they want to do something about it, but they don't. They don't interfere. Like I'm pretty sure for you being, directors and stuff, all you wanted to do was film. You didn't want to get involved in whatever they were doing. That's kind of hard to do too, because you see the whole situation escalating, and it's not easy to watch. It must have been very difficult, but the film comes across like fabulous. Like honestly, uh, I guess because of what happened in my family, I had tears in my eyes.
Mm.
So it really hit hard, and I hope it does for a lot of people, and I hope that this film really helps other people recover, because the good thing is, talking about my sister, that the problem is she never admitted that she had a problem. Nicole always admitted that she had a problem, and I think that's is the first step to recovery, is to admit that you have a situation, a problem. And I think that was a plus. And I think even in the beginning of the film, when she was stating that, I knew right away that she was going to recover
Mm.
because of that. When there are a lot of people out there, it doesn't matter what they do, they blame the whole world. They'll blame their mother, their father, their brothers, their friends, but they never look in the mirror and say, hey, it's me. They never say that. Once they do, that's the first step of recovery. You know,
And
yeah,
it's amazing you're saying that, because that is something Brian, the stepfather, says in the film Our American Family. Like Brian does point out as the film goes on, like, if Nicole had transitioned from one recovery center to a sober living facility in the past, he said she was laying the foundation for relapse. She would start complaining about everybody. She'd start blaming everybody. She'd say what a problem things were around her. And that for him was one of the first glimmers that he realized, wait a minute, something's changing here. Like she's not doing that this time.
right, right. I think deep down inside she knew,
Yeah.
and so what do you both hope for? Like what message would you like to send to the audience with this film?
Um, I think for me it's twofold. It's one of empathy. You don't know what someone else is going through behind the closed doors of their house. I think there's nothing on the surface that would tell you that this family was struggling with what they were struggling with. And second, it's one of hope. I think that we're so trained by documentaries really to kind of learn through failure, to see a horrible tragic end at the end of an addiction or recovery story, to see the sports team that you're rooting for lose and have to pick themselves up off the field after being defeated. And this is not that story. And yes, the struggle for recovery never truly ends. But now Nicole's coming through. When we first met her, she was raw. She was weeks into her recovery, and now she's going on 5 years. So I think hopefully people can look at this and really get that sense of hope that it is possible. You can do this.
Yeah. How's the mother and father doing now? The stepfather. How are they?
They're good. They're making more time for date nights. I think they're also, they are still raising G. Nicole has selflessly supported them. Nicole lives closer, so everybody's just bonding even more in a way that's safe and good for their family, which is beautiful. And continue to not give up on their family. They continue to just want to be honest, have these conversations, and really help other families too.
Yeah, well, you know what? This film will. I really believe that. And I think I don't believe that accidents, like for instance, the whole support system with look in the days where I grew up, there weren't a lot of support systems. So my mother and father couldn't call people. You know, it was hard. Uh, and they had no help, and it was very difficult. Today's world, you have a lot of support systems. So Nicole, luckily, uh, was brave enough. I call it brave because she is brave. And then what she did is, and she sought help, and now she's on her way, which is very successful. And I commend both of you for doing this film because you're going to help a lot of people just by
Thank
this
you
film.
so much.
So God
Yeah.
bless you both, and I wish you a lot of luck. But luck is not the word because it's well deserved. Period. I enjoyed it. Um, I had tears in my eyes um, because of what happened to my family, and it's a great title, great film. God bless you. And again, this film will come out on September 2nd, and then VOD and everywhere else on September 6th. So God bless you and thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much. That really means a lot.
God bless you both.
You too. Thanks for your important work in the space.
Oh, I'm trying very hard.